Hello, I'm David Farrow, and you're watching the Charleston Times. I live in the 6th District of South Carolina. Thanks to the miracle of gerrymandering, Representative Cobert is my congressman. James Cobert has been for a long, long time. Haven't been able to vote for any kind of conservative or Republican for 20 years. I actually have been quite upset about that down through the years until today. I gotta tell you, what a Donnybrook. What a Hobson's choice. Here in Charleston, this is the week that was. And I should note the District 1 race between Elizabeth Cobert Busch and Mark Sanford is gaining national attention. My best friend is a family law practitioner up in Maine. She's also, surprise, a Democrat. And she tells me that the Democrats in Maine are all excited about this race and they are pouring money into this race. And we'll discuss why in just a sec. You know, I gotta tell you, let's start with this. Mark Sanford won the primary after a cast of thousands and then a runoff with Curtis Bostic. He won the primary, fair and square.
And so for years, while many have talked, I've fought to do something about it. I've cut spending, reduced debt, and made government more accountable. More recently, I've experienced how none of us go through life without mistakes. But in their wake, we can learn a lot about grace, a God of second chances, and be the better for it. In that light, I humbly step forward and ask for your help in changing Washington. I'm Mark Sanford, and I approve this message.
But we didn't know about a lot of stuff. You know, I've been divorced, and I actually kind of have a small grasp of family law. And Mark, boy, you screwed up, didn't you? Now, as far as I'm concerned, and this came out late in the week, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the most egregious thing you did.
I thank you, I guess, to my fiancée Belen, who's right here behind me, for her long suffering as she put up with me being on the road for more than just a few months. And I thank you for that as well.
Now, Governor Sanford claims that he went up to watch the Super Bowl with his son. He didn't think his son should be watching the Super Bowl. Well, problem is, there was an order of protection. He wasn't supposed to be on the property. And he was. She caught him. She filed a complaint. But then, as my friend in Maine points out, he violated a court order. It was supposed to be sealed, and it came out a little over 2 weeks before the election. I just find the timing interesting, but it's hard to argue, though. But then you've got Elizabeth Cobert Busch. Now, I've been watching this woman since she ran for the Democrat primary, and when she won the primary, this was her ad.
Elizabeth knows jobs. She's worked her way up to director of sales in a shipping company. It's exports. It's working with business and creating thousands of jobs. Elizabeth Cobert Busch, mother, grandmother, wife, and a Charleston businesswoman for 25 years.
She's been a leader, emphasizing math and science in our schools, too.
Those are the jobs of tomorrow.
I'm Elizabeth Cobert Busch, and I approve this message because I'm running for Congress to create jobs in South Carolina. That's what I know.
Boy, that sounds reasonable, doesn't it? I mean, it really does. Jobs, yeah, except that I would think that's more of a governor's role, creating jobs, than a congressman's role. How are you going to create jobs? How are you going to do it? Well, This week, this is how the week started. Like I said, bad week for our friend Mark Sanford. And this is the commercial the Cobert Busch people put out.
I'm Elizabeth Colbert Busch, and as a single mom raising 3 young children, I had to be independent and do what was right for them. Now I'm going to take that lesson to Congress. I won't take any special interest pledges or follow any party line. To create jobs in South Carolina, we need a well-educated and skilled workforce, and we need to get rid of government waste. The deficit is killing jobs. I approve this message because my only pledge is to do what's right for you.
You know, that sounds really reasonable. Until you dig in a little bit and find out that there were 2 fundraisers, one in New York and one in Washington, with a collection of the most progressive people in the country. And one has to really wonder how nonpartisan she'll be. And then there was the case of the deleted tweets. On April 18th, Tara Savacious, who has a morning show on WTMA and also writes a column for the city paper, she wrote that Cobert Busch deleted a number of tweets. These were tweets that supported gay marriage, they supported unions, they supported socialized medicine, Obamacare, and I mean, here's a good example of what she had to say. GOP logic: providing health care to all Iraqis is sound policy, but providing health care to all Americans is socialism. She writes that there's a video that was on patch.com where she said the voices of the union and all unions need to be lifted up. Nobody is recognizing that, and I promise to be that voice for you. Know I hear you. Know that I'm working closely with your team. Now that doesn't really sound like a woman who's really big on business, does it? And there's this. In some of the deleted tweets, she is proud of being a progressive. I don't know if that's what you really believe, Ms. Cobert Busch. I would argue that you stand up and you argue for it. Why are you trying to hide it? This makes me nervous. We have quite a choice. On Friday the 19th, the Post and Courier ran the article, "No Appearances for Sanford While Cobert Busch Talks Jobs." Yeah, except for one thing. Governor Sanford did go on the radio and talk about going over to see his boy to watch the second half of the Super Bowl. Now, what's interesting, that is in the article in Saturday's paper. What else is in the article in Saturday's paper I find a little alarming and somewhat amazing. At the very end of the article, it says, Cobert Busch also had a difficult divorce and aftermath. She was granted a divorce from her first husband, Robert W. Legree, in August of 1987. Court records show that the couple continued to fight in court over unpaid child support, insurance, and Legree's visitation rights. In November 1988, family court Judge Mendel Rivers Jr. issued an order saying that they had, quote, failed miserably, unquote, to resolve their differences in the children's best interest, and ordered them both confined to the Charleston County Jail for 24 hours. You know, that's funny because I didn't hear anything about that before. That's at the very end of that article. So how's this going to play out? I don't know. I really don't. I would argue if you're a conservative, you might want to hold your nose. And this is a tough one. I'm glad it's a choice I don't have to make. Would I vote for Mark Sanford as opposed to Ms. Busch? Yeah, because, and let me tell you why, not just because I'm a conservative, and you ladies are all mad at him and everything, I know, and I don't blame you. I mean, like I said, that whole business with the kid just tore me apart. Am I the only one who sees the irony here of going for Mark Sanford after Mark Sanford went after Bill Clinton on the House floor with Lindsey Graham talking about morals? Now, I thought that was a mistake then. I'm a conservative. I thought Clinton should be impeached, but not because of the sex, but because he lied under oath. That was a high crime and misdemeanor as far as I was concerned. But then you had Mark out there whining about the whole moral thing, and now, where is he? It's moral relativity. But you see, Ms. Busch is just as guilty. We're just now finding that out. We're 2 weeks away from the election. A lot can happen. I'm just really glad I don't have to make that decision. I'm David Farrow, and you're watching the Charleston Times.